Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another episode. Today, as always, of course, we're going to carry on with the mutations for these snow owls. Maybe try on some mutations for the Gigas and see what we'll get for that. Obviously, my main aim is to get the damage mutations going and maybe go and get some dodos and see what we can achieve, what we can find. So if you folks enjoy this episode, please do not forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos. Also, why not check out some of my other videos here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. Links to this can be found down below in the video's description as well as in a pinned comment. So as you can see over there, our baby Gigas are pretty much grown up, or well, almost. They still have a bit more to go, so we're waiting on these guys to fully mature. One of them is a damage mutation, the other one is the first HP mutation. We still have the dodo that we tamed a while back, and I'm going to get some more dodos. I'm going to go through quite a lot of dodos. Obviously, I'm going to be looking for 150 dodos because I'm going to be breeding them to see what a super dodo can do, and I'm going to be putting it against the Rexes. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the snow owls. So this is the first thing I wanted to do in this episode. I'm going to move them here. Now, these are the mutation lines that I'm working with. So currently, I am still on the HP mutation, but as you can see, it's getting a bit crowded down there, so I thought that I might as well move them to somewhere where they will be out of the way, because I don't really need them, and I'm going to need a space for whatever I'm breeding. And so I thought this up here on top of my hanger should be a flat enough surface for them to stay for the time being. Once, obviously, I finish with all the mutations, I won't keep all of these snow owls that I've got. I'll probably just keep the 10th and 20th mutation in whatever stats. So obviously, for those that have not watched this series from the beginning, I am, of course, mutating the owls in stamina, health, and HP. I'm currently still on stamina, so that is the first thing that... Oh no, I meant HP, stamina, geez. So I am still on stamina. I did it again, didn't I? I am currently on health, so I want to get the health up on these guys. We are on the, I think, let me see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th mutation, currently speaking. There are obviously 13 mutations. I'm going to go 20 mutations in all of those 3 stats, and obviously I'm going to keep the 10th and 20th mutation. The 10th obviously will help me with mixing them up if I choose to do so, and so those will be the most helpful ones. So I'm going to line them up just as they were down there for a start. So as you can see, I'm lining them up. Obviously I will do a showcase video at the end once this whole thing is done. It is going to take a long time, no doubt about that, and obviously I believe that these snow owls are quite powerful. Now, the reason I'm putting them up here, another reason for that, is because I've got the tech suit. I do use the sprint on the tech suit quite often, and quite often I hit these snow owls and move them out of the way, and then I end up having to put them back. It doesn't do my OCD very good if they're not lined up the way I like them. And as I'm also going to be working on the dodo mutations and giga mutations, obviously I'm going to need a lot of space. As you can see, the gigas are quite big as they are. I still have to empty out the giga from the previous episode. I'm not going to keep it. That was a test giga for me to play around with and kind of see and gauge what they can do, how the stats scale up once they've been bred and fully imprinted. And from what I've seen, the damage stat does scale up quite nicely, and so does the damage. Some people have told me, of course, that a fully mutated giga in damage that has also been imprinted and that has also been leveled up quite well can reach and exceed 4,000 damage. Now, from what I saw in the previous video, that is totally possible and plausible. Now, that's going to be a mighty powerful Giga. Obviously, I do like my creatures to be tanky, which is why one of my options in breeding will always primarily be health. Health is quite important. Now, obviously, if I were to do, say, an Ankylosaurus, and I'd probably do, say, melee damage with weight, as that is what benefits that creature. But I do often use the owls and Gigas and Rexes for battle, so the most important things in battle for me would be stamina, which would come in, it's quite high, it's top 3, so it would be stamina, health, and damage. You want to take whatever you're fighting down as quick as possible. Also, I'm going to be placing down some hitching posts to stop them from moving. I did have a couple of experiences where I accidentally pressed the wrong key on the keyboard and ended up moving most of the owls. This way they cannot move, so that'll be perfect. They are all hitched, that's good. That's what I like to see. Look at that. I mean, it's taken a long time to get to where we are at the moment. A lot of time invested. So I'm going to put another hitching post because we will have 3 queues, let's call it, or lines of snow owls, as I am working on 3 separate mutations. I'm not going to keep the all of the mutations on the Gigas because obviously they are huge, as you can see, compared to my base. And so as a result, I will not have enough space to store them. I will only keep the previous mutation in whatever stat I'm working on. So say, for example, I'm working on HP. I'm currently on, say, the 5th mutation in HP. And all of a sudden I get the next mutation, which will be the 6th mutation in HP. I will only keep that 6th mutation and that 5th mutation. Anything prior to that will obviously be killed. I'm not going to keep the color mutations either, as I don't really see a use for them. They will be weaker than what I'll have. Okay, it's got the dodo. That's brilliant. I think the only thing I might consider keeping would be some sort of red color combination on a Giga. But as you can see, my Gigas do have a red belly. So first things first, I need to empty out this guy's inventory because we don't want to kill him with all the stuff in. This is good stuff that we can use. Obviously, I'm going to need a ton of hide for the saddles whilst I am breeding. So most saddles do require quite a decent amount of hide. And so, like you've seen with the previous mutations for the owls, they all have saddles because I will want to move them around and stuff like that. So obviously they'll need a saddle. So instead of just building one saddle and moving it from one creature to the other, I'll just build all the saddles for each and every creature. I just find it easier that way. It is a waste of resources and time, but it does not bother me. I mean, as you can see, I have a ton of hide, and as I continue working, I'm just going to get more and more resources and materials, so it shouldn't be all that difficult. Okay, let's put this there. So I've got the chitin keratin, scrap metal, and some element dust that needs to get going. I'm going to place the... need to be careful here. Don't want to place the wrong thing in the vault. I'm going to place the scrap metal into the forge. I won't smelt it just yet. I will stock those up. That is, of course, from the enforcers that I killed. So, decent way of getting metal for me. Obviously, the gather rates on the server are turned up. It would otherwise be quite difficult as one person to work on mutations and manage all the resources needed to feed all the creatures and everything. So high resources, well, it's kind of a must, to be fairly honest. Now I need to figure out what I did with my electronics. I know there's a vault for electronics, but I don't remember where it is. There's also the vault upstairs next to the tech replicator, so I guess I'm going to use that one. Oop. There we go. See, that's what I meant. I used the sprint, and I moved the argent, which is annoying. Not pleasant. Alright, let's go and put this guy back. Hey, you're not supposed to be there. That's my balcony. Get off it. Obviously, once I finish with these snow owls, we'll move on to to breeding the Argent. Now, this one that I'm currently on was tamed at 150, so he is most definitely going to be a candidate for the breeding process for stat. With the Argent, I'm just gonna go health and damage. I'm not gonna bother with other stats such as stamina, as it's not that relevant. I'm guessing with the imprinting and the mutations and all that, it should have enough stamina. I might look at any and all Argents that I tame at the stamina stats, so when I do breed them, to mix the stats all into the same parent, so that parents have the exact same stats. I might take a look at the stamina, so I'll probably look at adding stamina to the base parents from breeding, not necessarily through mutations. Any bonus I can get in there is going to be a welcome bonus. Now, as you can see, my Gigas, although they have plenty of points to be spent, I have not done so, as this is, of course, the breeding pair, and anything and everything that I breed, I do not put points into any stat whatsoever. Now, this guy is now useless. This was one of the first Gigas that was resulted from breeding. I did want it to test it, so we don't need it anymore. I'll take the saddle off of you, economize on some materials on that department. And let's harvest you, because you take a long time to despawn. Plus, you get a good amount of meat, which I can then use to feed all the other creatures. Okay. So, I'm going to put the saddle on the Mama Giga. I always tend to put my saddle on the base female. Or the spare saddles on the base female, that's what I meant to say. Just because that's my way of remembering where I've put the saddles for the creatures that I'm breeding. So let's put some meat in the grill. Let's top up our meat. Obviously, prime meat is the priority, as it can be turned into prime meat jerky, which I need to do as well. Probably not in this episode, but I'll need to get a decent stack of materials, then put them in the preserving bin and turn it into prime meat jerky. We need lots of that. Let's have a look here. So as you can see, it's got a spare saddle as is. We'll give her the other saddle, and so that's where I keep my spare saddles, generally speaking. I mean, it's just my way of remembering where things are, to be fairly honest. You can keep them and store them wherever. It doesn't affect breeding or anything. So the other thing I need to do is, because I've got so much, hold on a second. Okay, I just wanted to have a look at the side of the steps, because I know I covered them in a previous episode and they looked like they weren't covered. Going back to what I want to do is I'm going to empty out the gardener, because, like, for example, at this point in time I do not need the stimberries, so I'm just gonna drop them. I don't have enough storage space to store this amount. Again, same thing with the mayho berries, and obviously I'm going to take the veggies and put them in a refrigerator. By doing this, what I'm effectively doing is I'm making more space available for the narco berries. We want as many narco berries as we can, which I will then of course use with the spoiled meat to turn it into narcotics. Now, the narcotics themselves will be of course upgraded into the higher tiers of narcotics depending on what I need, but they do require normal narcotics for that, so I will need a lot. Now, for example, the red narcotics, for those that don't have the mod or haven't watched the previous video, will take 100 normal narcotics. So that's just for one narcotic. That is a red narcotic that is obviously part of the mod that I'm using. So, you know, I mean, it is I think 10 times as powerful as a normal narcotic, so it basically just scales up. Instead of having to use 100 narcotics, you just use one of those and it does the exact same thing. Obviously that can be applied to a stone arrow for the same increase in effectiveness. So instead of shooting 100 arrows, one red arrow does a job of 100 basically. So now that I've got a fridge, I'm going to Okay, that's pretty much it. I'm going to pick up the veg. I'm going to put the fridge here. Now I hope I can fit it. There we go. Perfect. So obviously the fridge is going to be next to the industrial cooker. This will have the veggies that we will use for kibbles. Not that I've actually needed it or anything. But I might need veggies for the stuff as well. I do want to make some of those veggie cakes and stuff. So definitely going to need stuff like that. I think one other thing I want to get, just because I need it, would definitely be some beehives. Now I've seen some beehives around in the sanctuary thanks to the snow owls. They're not as common, but you can also find them in the underground forest biome as well. Okay, so back to dodo hunting. As you can see, we've got a couple of creatures around here. There is a dodo. It's a 150. It's a male again. Great, you know, just the kind of stuff you want. That's always a good start with regards to breeding. Let's get rid of these compies because they will cause problems. I don't see anything dangerous in our vicinity. So, ooh, it's a Christmas colored dodo, 150. Now I brought a club because I do have the Ascendant crossbow, which does a lot of damage, and I don't know if this thing can take that damage. I should have probably brought a slingshot or maybe a simple crossbow, a normal primitive one. What is what I meant. But you know, we got the club. Let's go. The only thing that worries me at the moment is this dodo is running away from my owl, which is not a good thing. You know, I know that the area where it was initially was danger free, and I don't want this dodo running into a dangerous area. I'm quite tempted to try and use my crossbow and knock it out in one go, but I've already hit it a couple of times, and I mean, I kind of want to add this color to the dodos I'll be breeding. I'm so tempted. I really want to use the crossbow. I don't really bother that much about the arrows. I've got plenty of narcotics to craft and plenty of stone arrows to make more. It's just taking forever. And I'm worried about stuff in my environment. Now I'm going to try and get a body. Oh, never mind. What a fail. Oh boy. Right, well that teaches me a lesson. I guess I might need to go and look at changing out my crossbow and maybe crafting a normal crossbow that's not ascendant, so a primitive crossbow. I'll have to probably do that. This is a bit too powerful for a dodo, unfortunately. Okay, look at this guy. So this is how I find the dodos. I use the thermal vision on the owl, but this looks like dodo heaven. There are so many dodos around. I'm hoping to get lucky here. I heard something. I wasn't sure what it was. Oh, yeah, okay, never mind. Hold on. Yep, definitely heard something. Hey. It's annoying that you cannot use the attacks of the creatures that you're mounted on when you have the super spyglass out. A bit annoying. But as you can see, there's a lot of dodos around here. There's okay, that's a monkey. What's that? Dodo. Dodo. There is a 120, but I'm not looking at that. I only want the 150s, and that is only for breeding purposes. Oh, hello. Hey, hey. Lucky, lucky. So from what I scouted before, there wasn't anything that was going to pose a serious threat to me. So I can do this with confidence. Notice that I do not have the Ascendant crossbow. I have swapped it out. I have learned from my previous mistake. And I'm kind of sad that that dodo died, if I'm honest. I would have liked to have kept it and maybe bred it into the dodo mutation line that I'll be working on, but unfortunately mistakes do happen. I had a bad feeling that I was going to end up that way. I did not listen to my instinct, and so I'm faced with the consequences. I doubt that I'll be finding another dodo of the similar level and similar color, so I guess that's not going to happen. The only other way that this would happen would be if through mutating I would obtain a red dodo and then breed that into the final dodos. That's probably the only way I'm going to end up doing that. I should, in theory, obtain the red colors. I just would have wanted the Christmassy colors on it, but hey, whatever. You know, I'm not that bothered. It's a dodo at the end of the day. So I'm using the thermal vision on the owl because I can spot danger before it gets too close to my tame. So I do love this feature of the owl. And to be honestly blunt here, whilst I do love the Argentavis, I do find that the owl has more pros than the Argent does. Yes, it's a bit weaker, but like this thermal vision, this makes a bigger difference than the carry weight. Obviously, with the snow owl, that's a good farming owl. With the Argent, that is a good farming flyer. Good, decent weight. It has a reduction in certain items. It has a saddle that acts as a smithy and allows you to craft certain things on whilst mounted, whereas this doesn't. So it depends really what you need it for, but I do like the owl's abilities so much, and it scales up so nicely when you level it up as well. Let's see what we got there. Dodo. Okay, so as you can see, this is more or less dodo heaven. I've not seen so many dodos cluttered together in one area, so I'm quite fortunate that I found another 150. 150s are quite rare on Extinction from what I've seen. I've actually had more luck finding 150s on the island and other servers, to be fairly honest, or other DLCs. They tend to be quite rare. Obviously, in previous gameplays, I did have the creature amount turned up to 2 per map, whereas this one only has 1. But I thought it'd make it fair and balance it out and make it a bit more challenging to find higher tier creatures or higher level creatures. So, you know, I'm trying to keep it balanced. I'm trying to keep it fun and interesting. But obviously, I do not like the farming bit. I do like the breeding bit, though. Okay, back at base. We've allowed our Gigas to breed. I've moved my mutations. So we are now mutating the damage mutation. So that is, of course, in the hope of getting the second mutation down the damage line. We are also allowing the owls to breed. Maybe we get lucky with that. So let's go and have a look at the owl and see what I get. As you can see, I've only just recently started, so we've got a decent amount of eggs at this current time. Let's see if we get anything of interest. Now, if I get a nice Giga, I was actually thinking that I would want to try and see and use a Giga in the caves on this DLC. That would be something nice to try out. So let's have a look here. So 251 is what we're currently on. So we're looking for 253, and that would be a mutation on top of what we already have. Now, obviously, mutations can occur in different stats, so hopefully we get lucky here and get a mutation in HP. That would be good. So we've got this last right here. What I'm going to be doing to help speed up mutations is I'm going to be keeping all the 251 females. Well, not all. I need about 3 to 4 of them to breed them to get quicker eggs, or to get eggs quicker. At least that's the plan. I don't think and don't expect to get anything from the amount of eggs that I've currently just put down on the hatching platform, but if that's the case, I do want to have a couple of females growing up, and then I'll breed those back to the male. So 251s means that these will be the mutations that we are currently on. 239. Now that is a mutation, of course, but it is a mutation of the base parent stats, so we don't really care about that. It will show up as 7 mutations, but technically, physically, practically, it'll only have 1 mutation, so there's no point in actually keeping it at this point in time. What happens is, when you breed mutated creatures to, say, the base parents, they do of course, take the mutation stacks and keep the game keeps track of the previous mutations, whether in patrilineal or matrilineal. But sometimes you can get the lower stats, so that would be off the base parent with a mutation. So what will happen in that case will, of course, be something along the lines of the baby will be 2 levels higher than the parent, and will only have 1 active actual mutation. But if you look in the ancestry tree, you will see that it has, say in my case, 7 total mutations, with only the recent one being an active one due to the fact that it's taken the stats off the parent and then mutated on that. So there's no point in keeping anything lower. 251 is what I'm at, so 253 is what I'm looking for. Once I see a 253, I'll then look at the stats and then try and figure out from the base stats of the parents if it's been mutated, if it has not, and stuff like that. It sounds like a lot of hard work and a lot of things to keep track of, but I don't mind it. I do like it. It is tedious. It is quite complicated to do. There we go. 253 right there. Right, so this is the next HP mutation. So I'm going to keep this one. I just need to figure a way out of getting it out there. I'm probably going to have to do some cleaning. Can I? Okay, oh, perfect, perfect. I can pick it up. Nope, oh. Okay. I'm going to have to do some cleaning to access that mutation. So I'm going to take that one out. I am going to put it next to the other females that we got. Probably get rid of them because they're useless now. There's no point in keeping them. Put some meat on her or it. I think it's, what is it? If I can find it. There we go. Okay, female. So we've been lucky with a female here. I'll pick you up. And there we go. So that is the next mutation. Let's put the name on it as a whoa. I forgot I didn't disable wandering. Okay. Come here. No. Don't do that. Don't you wander off. Okay, so I'm gonna chuck you down here, something like that. Is there anything? Alright, I'm gonna finish these guys off. There's no point in keeping them, but obviously in order to be able to carry on, we need to clear these guys out. In order to kill them, I need to claim them. And one thing I think that the normal Ark should have, for those that do breeding and all that kind of stuff, is some sort of method for killing off the unwanted dinos. See, when I played on the official servers, there wasn't anything going on. I mean, they're doing all these S plus conversions and taking things out of the S plus and adding it officially into the game, which is good. Though the issue is that, of course, well, if you're breeding, as you see in this video and probably seen in past videos, you will go through a ton of babies. Now, on official servers, to my knowledge, as of yet, as of this moment, there isn't any way of actually killing them except by not feeding them. So taking them to a part of the base where they cannot access the feeding trough. I don't think that is quite effective, especially if you're going to be hatching a load of eggs all in one go. So let's have a look here. Let's change your name. So I'm trying to remember now exactly what mutation this was. I think I know, but I'm not certain if I'm on the right mutation in terms of the number. So I'll name it now. There's not much I can do. and then I'll double check later. So this is the 8th mutation. I think that is right. Just quickly clean this up. Okay. Okay, cool. I've seen that. So yes, that is right. We are on the 8th mutation. I wasn't sure there for a second. I was second guessing myself. We don't need you anymore. You've served your purpose. So obviously that one over there was a male. Now I have a female mutated owl, and I also have a female mutated owl, or the latest generation of mutation in HP. Also, I've noticed that there was a change with regards to breeding. I think you can now breed dinos by just having them next to each other. There is a option in the basically actions wheel where you can select on creatures to have them breed by just standing next to each other. I've noticed that it's a bit glitchy at the moment, so I just want to go with females in terms of backtracking mutations. Alright, next order of business, we have some Giga eggs over here. I'm going to see what comes out of it. Now this is, I think the 5th attempt. There were mutations, and I have recorded them, but I'm not going to put them in the video because otherwise it will be an absolutely very, very long video. Bottom line is, nothing good came of it. Maybe some interesting or slightly interesting color mutations that I saw. Again, nothing really, you know, like kind of like this. This has got yellow belly. It doesn't do it for me. And I'm not going to keep every color. Well, I'm not going to keep color mutations for the Gigas as a general rule of thumb. Now, this rubber banding is due to these stupid hitboxes of these creatures, which are actually larger than the creature itself. So we got this guy. Oh, hello. Oh dear, this guy has got 2 mutations. Hello, hello, hello. So this male Giganotosaurus now has 2 mutations. It's not got one in damage. From what I can see, I'm looking at the stats. Yeah, that confirms it. Because we are initially on the first mutation trying to get to the second mutation, but this one has got 2 mutations in one go. Check this out. From what I can see from the stats that I have written down, to make it easier for me, and I've got it on a little post-it here on my desk. The only mutation that occurred was an HP. The second mutation is not an active mutation in any stat. We do also have this gnarly blue color. So what I'm going to be doing with this wonderful Giga, I am going to keep it. This is going to become my hunting Giga, which I will use to gather meat and... Okay, for a second there I thought it was on Wonder. Gather meat, and I'm actually thinking of taking it into the caves to get the artifact once it's mature and healed up. I'm also going to do that as a way of leveling it up. It also gives me a break from this because okay, just a bit of an update here. So we have the Dodos you've seen before. I did go out whilst waiting for the Gigas to breed and get me some more eggs, and I got 2 more Dodos. Managed to find 2 more Dodos. Well, found more than that. But this is the maximum amount of health that I was lucky to find, and maximum amount of melee damage. So this is the health one, and the previous one was melee damage. Compared to the ones that I first tamed off, obviously these are weaker, so therefore they are no use to me. Meaning, well, this is what happens to useless creatures. They normally tend to end up feeding my current creatures. I suppose that's the circle of life. So, you know, we will not waste all that good meat. Put that there. So that's that done. Technically, I'm now ready to start breeding the Dodos for that super Dodo that I want to use to kill Rexes with. Also, with regards to the Gigas, not lucky at all. I must have gone through 10 patches. All mutations either occurred in primarily actually in let me try and remember now. Oxygen and weight primarily, or in, I think I got 1 or 2 mutations in health. So I've not been very lucky over the last 2 days. I'm going to take a break in the next episodes and maybe do something a bit more interesting. Wait for this guy to grow up and do the caves just to get the artifacts, which I will probably then place around my base just to spruce it up a bit. But that is it for this episode. I hope you guys are looking forward to the next ones, because this guy and me will be going and taking on the caves. If you have enjoyed it, please do not forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and haven't already for more similar content. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. Links to this, of course, you can find down below in the video's description, as well as in a pinned comment. Until next time, stay safe, folks.